I'm Robbie.
And I'm Jen.
And we're doing the
John Muir Trail.
Smartwater, the official sponsor of the John Muir Trail. Why is it yellow, you ask?
Co-sponsored by Noon.
It's not pee. You don't have to pack that out, silly.
It's officially 211 miles that starts in the valley at Yosemite National Park and ends at Mount Whitney, 200 miles south of that, the highest point in the continental U.S. It passes through 3 national parks, Yosemite, Sequoia, and Kings Canyon, as well as some wilderness and national forest areas, Inyo National Forest, Ansel Adams, Muir. So we set out to do this very, very long trail starting on August 1st, and now we're on day 11th, August 11. We are at the Vermilion Valley Ranch, which sits at mile marker 88. So we have hiked 88 plus miles over 11 days to get here.
I think our itinerary is officially 26 days. 3 of those are 0 days, which are
Like
rest days like today.
We had our first 6-day push where we went from Yosemite Valley, the trailhead is called Happy Isles, to the first resupply point at Reds Meadow, Mammoth Lakes, California.
So on average, every day we're climbing and descending like 25 to 3,000 feet.
Yeah.
Up and down every day.
Every day.
Every day. Except for the first couple days, which were just up.
Basically.
Yeah, we started at like 4,000 feet and had to climb to 11 over the first 4 or 5 days. All right.
Ooh, mosquitoes are on me.
3 and we're about 15 miles in. About to camp here at the top of Lyle Canyon and go up Donahue Pass tomorrow morning. Early start, probably 3:30 or so. Feeling all right.
It's really beautiful. I'm trying to keep the light on it.
It is gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
I don't know where the pass is, but somewhere around there.
It looks like it's gonna be up the gorge there, and then a right just past this first incline on the right side. So, and we've been following this beautiful creek this whole time. It's gorgeous. Yeah. We are day 4 now, going over Donahue Pass. Over there, that's not the pass.
We thought this was
We thought the pass. We got a little bit scared, but the pass is actually across that river and then back up that side where there's significantly less snow.
Yeah.
Seeing lots of marmots up here, crossing some snow, getting our feet wet. It's a good day.
See you at the top.
Well, guys, it's day 5. Thousand Island Lake down there. This snowfield is the trail. So we're sitting here at Ruby Lake for a snack break this morning. Jen's over there. She's a little hot and itchy, but we're doing all right. The first couple of days to get up here to the mountains, to the higher altitude, was a little grueling, but now that we're up here, it's so gorgeous that the climbing feels a lot easier. Let me turn this around and so you can see our view for our snack break here. So right here, we've got Ruby Lake. Snow still coming way down, right down the side of the mountain into the lake. We've still had pretty significant snow travel, although it's been pretty slushy once the sun comes up, so it's not been so bad to cross. We've been hearing a lot of crazy things about this little patch here on Garnet Lake, and it was super sketchy, but we took it slow and it was all right. Day 9, we're at Lake Virginia. This place might be the most picturesque lake I have ever seen in my entire life. Look at this. Absolutely stunning. Say hey, Jen.
Hi. I'm in what I call my Dumbo, where I put my towel over my head to cover from the sun. And it makes me look like an elephant. But it's good sun protection because it's brutal out here. But yeah, we climbed around a ridge line mostly today, through some lakes, went down to Purple Lake and came back up, went over some unnamed pass, and now we're here at Lake Virginia. It's really pretty.
Alright, this is day 10 now, and we are about to go over Silver Pass. Back there. Got a huge river flowing down from it. Lots of snow up there. Yeah.
Robbie got bit by a bee yesterday.
Stung?
Oh, stung by
I got stung by a bee.
Okay, we're at the top of Silver Pass. Came up here this morning. It's, 11 a.m. And we came through that valley and then saw a view of this, which was pretty cool. And then we went around the backside of this little mound, came up through these lakes, and you can see this frozen lake over here, and then just kind of meandered our way up to this really snowy peak. You can't really see it from here, but there's an area that we were hiking up, where we put on our micro spikes because it was really, really steep.
So we were coming up this side of the pass and we walked up this really steep section with our spikes on. But if we were coming down, we would have gone down this glissade. That looks like a lot of fun. The best part of the day right here. John Muir Wilderness! Alright.
Day 13.
Day 13, it's Sunday. Alright. We're about to go over Selden Pass. We came up, camped just past Bear Creek last night, about a mile up from crossing it. Got a lot of rain and thunderstorms, but the lightning kind of held. The mountains held it away about a mile away from us, so that was good. Still it's a little bit dark and cloudy up here on the pass, but with a name like Selden, it probably wears a pocket protector and people steal his lunch money, so I'm not worried.
It's almost Sheldon. Not. One letter off. His parents.
Selden, really?
Yeah. His parents did him a disservice. Sorry, I had to swat a mosquito.
Well, here we go again. Pass day.
Pass day!
We've got today's snack wrappers.
In what we call
the trash pocket. This is really bad. I do not like this. All right, and Selden Pass. 20 minutes later, we're at the top.
With a name like Selden, he has to be lame.
Waterfall is coming down. Creek, snow, everything all at once. Oh man. All right, day 14. This is the San Joaquin Bridge on the south fork of the river. It is very much down, out of commission. And
it has been the talk of the town. Everybody on the JMT this whole year has mentioned this bridge being down and what you're gonna do about it. Are you gonna try to do this or that?
And it seems like there's about half the crowd is just going for it, and the other half is taking this really long detour. Well, it adds about 12 miles, but you have to go way around over 2 more passes into town, hitchhike to another trailhead, get back on, hike some more back to the JMT. And then there's a couple other routes, but none of them really look that good, easy, safe. They're all kind of off trail route finding. So there's only 2 options really, and it's crossing the bridge or going way around.
Well, there's 3 options we're currently considering. People are crossing kind of like on the top side, on the outside of the bridge. You see how it's leaning like that? So they're kind of like leaning over it and crossing on the outside. We might try to find somewhere with a calmer creek a little downstream to cross. Option number 2.
But even that, it's a very strong current and probably over your hips. So
yeah, and option number 3, we backtrack a bit and try to go over the cliffs behind here.
And that's gonna be like 5 miles of scrambling. We gotta climb at least 800 feet or so over some very steep, slippery boulders. That's looking like a less good option. It's probably gonna be 5 or 6 hours of scrambling this afternoon to get a mile down the trail.
That was our original plan though.
That was the original plan. It looks kind of challenging. So we got a decision to make.
This is what people have said that they've gone outside this railing of the bridge when you lean really heavy forward and then go across like that. So we're taking off our pack and assessing how difficult, how sketchy that is. Trying to make a decision here.
Well, we chose the bridge. We made it across. I went across, carried my pack, went back across, carried Jen's back over, and then Jen came over. We did it. It was very sketchy. Would probably not recommend. Don't do it. It was terrifying.
I cried after.
Jen exploded into tears as soon as she made it back to solid ground. So it gets you across, it saves you a few miles, but you know, the consequences are pretty severe, so would not recommend. Look at that thing. Some mornings you just can't walk anymore. We're approaching Muir Pass about 10:30 in the morning. That's Jen there behind me hiking, and it's starting to look pretty ominous. Skies are pretty dark. It's starting to rain again, but I think we'll probably be all right. Worst case, there is the Muir hut up top. If we get caught in a storm or anything, I'm about to put on my rain jacket and keep going. It's probably the most exposed pass on the whole trail, so Yeah, it's getting a bit nippy. It's cold. Walking down across the snowfield with our spikes on. It's pretty icy, cold. Nice August day. Pass is over there. Storm's blowing over, kind of whited out over there. Pouring rain, a little bit of a lightning storm, as you can probably hear. We came back down the mountain a little bit to seek a little bit of shelter. Not really shelter, just less likely to get struck. And having some couscous for lunch with some bacon.
We're just sitting out in the rain, eating some couscous, getting wet.
Glad we brought our full suit up rain gear, rain pants, everything. We finally made it past the storm now. We are approaching our final ascent up Muir Pass. And we're pretty exhausted and cold and wet. And it was about a nine mile approach or so this morning to even get to the final ascent up this pass. This is wild. Well, we thought we were approaching our final ascent. Apparently not. We hadn't even made it up to the frozen lakes.
All right, it is 5 p.m., 4:45, something like that. We are at the top of Muir Pass. The Muir hut is right in front of us. Robbie will pan towards it. And we are miles and miles and miles from any other person. Took us 9 miles to get up here, and we have 4 miles down. And this is probably the most wild thing and the most backcountry thing I've ever done. Backcountry seems like an understatement for what this is.
Yeah, this is insane. I mean, the last several miles were literal scramble over boulders, loose rock, and snow that is quickly melting. We are well above the tree line, and storms have been blowing over us. We've been dodging them all day in the most exposed section in the Sierras here.
That's why they have a hut here.
Yeah.
It is emergency hut for storms.
All right, here, yeah. Come look at this shelter here. Like this, it's literally this stone hut over here. It's a little musty inside, but that's to be expected.
Yeah.
With a tiny little window just so you can watch your demise as the storms roll over. And we do have some more storm clouds rolling in this way, so unfortunately we might have to spend a little bit of time in that shelter, but we're not sure yet. We're gonna see here a couple minutes and check that out. It's August 16th day on the trail as well. We came down from Muir Pass last night. Had to do a little bit of hiking in the dark with our headlamps till about 10 p.m. to actually get down to a spot that was usable and out of the snow. And today's hike has been comparatively easy. We've got a lot of avalanche damage down here, a lot of downed trees, still lots of high water and stuff like that, but still significantly easier travel. We're gonna do a little bit of climbing at the end of the day, get ourselves set up well for Mather Pass, which we've heard has its own set of challenges as well. We're on our final ascent of the day. Jen is looking very beat. And we are climbing up what's called the Golden Staircase. It's not much of stairs, it's still just steep rocky terrain, just like everything else, but it's pretty. And it gets us a little bit closer to Muir Pass for our morning commutes.
And Palisade Lakes is where we're going. It's supposed to be beautiful. So hopefully we get a good campsite.
Hi guys.
Day 17. We camped last night at this really beautiful spot called Lower Palisade Lakes. We're at 10,650-ish feet, so pretty high elevation, definitely in the alpine area. No campfires here. Today we're gonna go over Muir Pass, somewhere in that direction. It's a 4-mile up, some miles down, probably many miles down.
Yeah.
But it's pass day.
Pass day. It's pass day.
Yeah.
We met a guy last night. We thought he had just come over Muir Pass. We got to our campsite here about sunset or so.
It's like 7:30.
And he was just coming down and he's like, oh, hey, can I join y'all? Sure, of course. We thought he just came over the one pass. He had triple pass day and had just finished 40 miles on the trail. He was trying to set a record, not just of the JMT. He's doing the JMT in 6 days because the conditions were bad. He was planning for 5 days on the JMT, but the record wasn't for the JMT. It was for 3 trails. It was for the Colorado Trail, the long trail, and the JMT in under 30 days total. That's like 1,000 miles.
Yeah, he's doing like 40 to 50 miles every day. And he said the JMT sucks and is a lot harder than he thought it would be. So instead of 5 days, it's 6 days. We're at the top of Muir Pass. Another pass day. We came over from our camp spot next to the lake, 4.5 miles up. The north side had not a ton of snow, but the snow it did have was like whoosh. So we put on the spikes so we wouldn't whoosh down. I kept them on for a while, and then we had to climb all of this like loose boulder, loose rock. The spikes help a little bit, but still kind of dangerous over all the rock. And somebody said yesterday they had to self-arrest, I believe probably on that spot, so we were trying to be extra careful. Everything seems easier now that we did Muir Pass, so this seemed like kind of not a cakewalk, but really not that bad in comparison. We did start about like halfway up at our campsite, and now we have, I don't know, 6 miles down on that side.
All right, it's day 18. We are making our way up Pincho Pass. We are currently at Lake Marjorie, and the color of this water is insanely blue. It does not show up the same on this camera. This looks like one of the least steep passes that we've done yet, which is really refreshing. Today we've been moving quick, and we got some great rest last night. We had like a nice fire. Actually got to camp before sunset and had a little bit of downtime to relax. Moving quickly this morning. All right, congrats. You just made it up the top of Pincho Pass. How do you feel?
Snotty.
Snotty, all right.
Snotty.
Okay, what else do you feel?
Good. That was not as bad as some of the other ones. But we We hear there's a storm coming, a snowstorm. It's August 18th, and there's a snowstorm coming in 2 days. So we're getting a little bit worrisome. We're thinking that we might have to push and complete the rest of it faster than we expected, so we don't get caught in a major snowstorm. That could be really dangerous. So, stay tuned on what we're doing about that.
So up here on top of Muir Pass, it is incredibly windy, and that is a pretty strong signal that this storm is definitely going to come here soon. It is definitely a gorgeous pass. It's getting steeper. All these passes are getting really steep. We're above 12,000 feet on every pass now, and increasing every single one of them. So it's getting a little bit harder to breathe when we're running up and down these things, but it's manageable. Our bodies are slowly adjusting, sort of. It still kind of hurts.
Sawmill Pass Trail is 12 miles out to Independence.
So we got a big decision to make here. Everybody we've been passing on the trail today has been talking about this huge storm coming. We checked our own Garmin, checked the weather on it, and the forecast shows about 3 inches of rain. Sorry, I blew a mosquito off my nose. We can't get to our original exit point where we were going to resupply before the storm hits, and it would be over some major passes, which would become really dangerous. The rivers are already flooded, and it's just going to flood even worse. So we found a side trail that goes over Sawmill Pass. So we're going to backtrack a little bit, go over that pass and exit before tomorrow afternoon when that storm starts to hit us. We can't wait it out in the woods because we will run out of food before that happens, before the storm's over. So unfortunately, we just got to make our exit. It doesn't really change a lot. The only thing we're going to miss is Glen Pass, because we're still exiting to the town of Independence, and then that's where we're going to get our resupply for our last section of the trail. Hop back on, go over Kearsarge Pass and not Glen Pass. Just go over Kearsarge Pass, back onto the trail, and keep heading south.
Yeah, it's going to start raining tomorrow afternoon and then continue for the next 2 days at like 1.5 inches each day, which is a ton of rain.
Yeah.
And we still have at least 2 more days if we were going to continue on our original itinerary through Glen, Ray Lakes, over Kearsarge, out to Independence. It's going to get really cold and really wet, and that just wouldn't really be fun.
It's more than not fun. I think it would really become like a dangerous situation, since we kind of ditched our warmer gear earlier to save weight, and so we would really be thoroughly soaked and freezing, and probably wouldn't be able to get warm at night. Which could become really dangerous, especially when you're still a couple days away from civilization.
And in this very unconventional year, like the water levels are already really high. The passes are already difficult. It is like you have to like swallow a bit of your ego a little bit to get out and not finish. We're gonna be missing about like 15 miles of the trail, which is a little bit of a bummer. But at the end of the day, it's better to say, hey, we bailed and we were able to finish the last leg between Kearsarge to Whitney than to say, we got hypothermia and we can't finish it at all.
Right, exactly. And we're already doing more of the trail than 90% of the people out here because we didn't take the major reroute through the town of Bishop. We stayed and went over the absolutely most challenging part of the trail, that bridge and Muir Pass, which were absolutely insane. So I don't feel bad or guilty or anything like that about not doing it quote unquote the right way or whatever. We're still doing the entire trail, and we're staying safe doing it, and that's what's important. All right, we're at the top of Sawmill Pass. This is our exit point for now. We found out that this storm is actually a hurricane, Hurricane Hillary. So it's a really good thing that we're getting off the trail as soon as we can. It's gonna start up this afternoon, which is about the same time we're gonna be still exiting the trail. So we're gonna be on the desert side of the Sierras. It might just still dump on us, which could be dangerous. A lot of flooding expected. We were a little bit concerned about this trail coming up because the trail wasn't maintained. The first couple miles were really boggy and hard to follow. We have 8 miles down, and we're dropping about 6,000 feet down to the trailhead. Hopefully it's easy to follow trail. This was actually one of our easiest passes that we've been on at only 11,347 feet.
Yeah, I think it took us half an hour to climb this like 500 feet from our
Yeah,
campsite.
the campsite was only 500 feet down from the summit, or from the pass. So it was pretty easy, but we've got a very long, arduous route down.
But we did get a shuttle to come pick us up, so we know that there will be a car down there to get us from this very remote trail.
Yeah, nobody uses this trail. It's unmaintained. All of the comments on our Far Out app said that it's impossible to get a hitch there, so we made sure that we used our satellite phone, reached out to a shuttle driver in the region, and he confirmed that he could pick us up.
Yep. So this is a fun side adventure. You know, when nature does its thing, a hurricane goes through, you gotta get out, you gotta make other plans and stay safe. So now we get to see the very deserty eastern side of the Sierras. That'll be fun.
We're fully in the desert now. We just survived an 1.5 hour long hailstorm, and we still have several miles down out of Sawmill Pass. So we're getting close, but these storms are getting pretty wild. Well, we have some bad news, guys.
Don't make me say it, because then if I say it, it becomes official.
I know. You gotta say it.
No, I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it. We have to leave the trail and go home.
Yeah, we do. This hurricane is pretty bad. This town in Independence that we're at, there's like mudslides 2 miles away from us. There's like forecasted today 20 inches of snow on the passes and the peaks that we gotta go over now. Of fresh snow on top of what was already there, which was several feet. So cold temperatures, fresh snow, lots of rain, 3 to 5 inches of rain. We don't have the gear for it. We're not prepared. It's wildly different than the weather we've had so far, so we're just not able to finish the trail with what we have. We exited at the right time, safely, although through a pretty rough hailstorm and lightning storm. But I think that was the right decision. we got off the trail. The weather has gotten progressively worse. We're in Inyo County right now, and the Sheriff's Department issued a flash flood warning showing that it is marked as extreme flash flooding, and they haven't had that in maybe 50 years here in this county. So it's sad, but we are making the right, safe decision to leave the trail and not finish. There's just no way we could do Forester Pass and Mount Whitney with the weather that we're getting. So
we gotta go home, back to civilization, back to our lives.
You sound like your life is miserable.
I don't want to go back.
I know. It's really tough to leave the trail, and something we've been doing for 3 weeks, and we were so close to finishing.
Yeah, we made it to mile 165 of 210. So we had about 50 miles to go. Our very last leg between here, the Kearsarge Pass and Mount Whitney.
Which was only about 5 days on the trail.
Yeah. So we made it really far, and it sucks to see like other people on the Facebook group who, you know, finished before the storm, were able to complete their full trips. So it sucks a lot to have to leave, and to have to leave like pretty like abruptly, since we, you know, nobody knew that a hurricane was coming through.
Right.
We didn't even really know. When we left the trail, I was like, okay, we'll wait out the storm for 2 days and then get back on. And now it's become we have to leave.
We just, when we were on the trail, we heard it was a storm. We just assumed some bad weather coming. And then I got a message on my satellite phone that it was a hurricane. And so we knew we had to leave. We were already on our way off the trail at that point. Once we got off the trail, we realized how bad the storm was going to be, how much snow we were going to get in August, which is crazy. But the colder weather, the storms are starting earlier this year, just like it was a record snowfall last winter. So coming into this, we knew that it was going to potentially be the most challenging year to do this trail, especially for our first times on the trail. And we know it was already a challenging trail in regular years. So
Sucks a lot.
Let's talk a little bit about our experiences. What was your biggest fear coming into this?
By day 5, it had already been the longest I'd ever been out in the wilderness. So there was just like this factor of it, like multiplied by a factor of 10 essentially. Just I've done a few backpacking trips, but now we're gonna be out here for like 200 miles.
Yeah.
And there was definitely a lot of like, I don't really know what to expect, how I'm gonna feel, what that's gonna be like. And then on top of all of that, the winter of 2022 and 2023 has been like the highest snow on record for the Sierras. They got like 240% typical snowfall. At Mammoth Lakes, California, they said they got 70 feet of snow,
70
which is crazy.
feet.
Yeah.
Deepest on record.
Yeah. And so this year, everybody was just like, we were following these Reddit threads, Facebook groups, everybody was just bailing, like, it's gonna be too difficult, the snow's not gonna have melted, the streams will be crazy. just like the weather is going to be so atypical that you'd be insane to hike it this year.
Yeah.
And so there was also a lot of like unknown of what that was going to be like, since, you know, the conditions change every single day. Snow melts, water levels change, mosquito levels change. So there's a lot of just like unknown of how bad, how much snow there was going to be.
Right. How difficult it would be.
Yeah. But we still like gave it a go, and I think the thing that I feared ended up being kind of the thing that I am like treasuring the most, in a way, where instead of it being kind of like the worst year to do it, I definitely feel like this has been one of the best years to do it, because the snow on the peaks, the snow on the passes has made everything more dramatic. It's made it so much more beautiful and like so much more dynamic. You know, you're hiking on a trail, and then you have to like put on your micro spikes and hike through the snow, and then you have to like cross a stream. So it has just been like a very, very full trip, and I don't think that would have, like, without it, it would just be not just, but
it would just be one of the most beautiful trails in the country.
Yeah.
You know. Well,
no big
you know,
deal.
Jen, I really appreciate how you turned around that negative question into a very positive, like you were in a job interview.
My biggest challenge and how I faced it.
What I've struggled with the most is actually my greatest strength. Along those lines, what's been the biggest challenge since we've started the trail for you?
I guess I thought there would be a lot more like solitude, a lot more time to like think and reflect. But there's like tons of people out here, which is great. Like, it's awesome to make friends. Hikers are really nice, but I feel like there hasn't been as much just like quiet time. At the same time, like every minute of every day, we're either like hiking, we're like recovering, we're making food, we're filtering water, we're trying to get to sleep at a reasonable time. And there's just like, it's constantly on the go.
Right.
And the mosquitoes have been a big challenge. Yeah. But if you had ever sat in an area, tried to eat lunch, and had like thousands of mosquitoes swarming you,
totally swarmed.
You would know. Covered
head to toe in rain gear, and they're still biting your hands and your face, and you can't stop it. You know.
And yeah, that was the first time I cried. The first time. There have been many other times.
But with that, there's also tons of great things that haven't been happening in past years. Like all of the wildflowers, there's wildflowers that haven't bloomed in 50 years here. And botanists are like coming out of the works to get in the woods and you know, see these and examine and study and take pictures and stuff. It really has been truly gorgeous.
Yeah, I think it's been like both elevation, a lot of up and down, and also just mood, energy wise, just like up and down, up and down. Like 1 second I'm pumped, I'm hyped, I'm going over a pass, it's insanely beautiful, it's the coolest thing I've ever done. And then next second I am like covered in mosquitoes, want to cry, haven't showered in how many days, still wearing the same shirt, all sweaty, so dusty. And it's just this like up and down, high and low, constant thing.
It's an emotional roller coaster with no brakes. What's been the absolute best part?
I think going over our first pass. So the trail goes through over 10 major passes, however you count them. And the first one that we went over was Donahue Pass on day 5. It was 5. And going over that pass, like, you just really feel like you're in the mountains. Like, you've hiked 40 miles to get here. You're at 10,000 feet. Like, you saw the mountains so far.
11, actually.
11?
Yeah.
And now you're in it. You're going over this area that you can, like, you don't know what's on the other side. And with the snow, with the streams, you just really feel like you're in the wilderness, and that's been my favorite part.
Yeah.
Has that also been your favorite, best part of the trail?
Honestly, I think that this Silver Pass was maybe prettier, but I think when we went over Donahue Pass, that was when I like really got excited and like pumped up about what we're doing here.
Yeah, it's hard not to just like feel a certain way when you're up there. And I think at the top, I almost feel a little, it's like the approach to the pass, and really like you're not exactly sure where you're gonna go over. It's like twisting and turning. We did this like major U-turn on Donahue. And it's with all the snow up there and like the frozen lakes. It has been so stunning that the passes are just like crazy experiences.
And I think it is the build up. And since we're going southbound, we're climbing the north face of every pass, of every mountain, and descending the south face. So, you know, because of that, the north face is just naturally going to be steeper, rockier, harsher climate, all of those things, wetter. And so that approach to the pass is just so incredible. And then once you get over it, it's like you come into this little oasis that's like much mellower. Everything is like green and grassy, and there's like pools of water that people are like swimming in and stuff. And you know, it's really cool. It's like we just tackled this huge thing, and now we're coming back down the backside, and it's like everyone's celebrating.
And it's really cool because like you don't even know what's on the other side. You can't see it, and there's like more beautiful mountains on the other side.
Yeah. Everywhere you look, turn back, you get a new view, and it's like it's stunning. What's kind of the standout things that have happened? I think like day one, we saw a brown colored black bear in the campground in Yosemite Valley, like at 5:30 in the morning as we were starting our hike. Like before we even got to the trailhead, we were walking out to it and had that bear just like running back and forth in front of us in the campground there, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, and then with that, on Donahue, we're eating our lunch, having some amazing backcountry couscous and bacon.
Cold soaked. Yeah.
And we just like start to see a couple marmots poking their heads up. One is approaching. He clearly wants the food. He leaves, brings a friend back, reinforcement, you know. And then they leave. We're like fending them off, waving them off. And now suddenly there's like 4 of them like swarming us, all just trying to like get at our food.
Yeah. And so they're coming in around us like a pack of wolves, just like hunting.
Yeah.
Like we're like an injured rabbit, and they're just like closing in on us. So I had to like get my hiking pole out, and I was like swatting at them. They like didn't bother them at all. They were literally like 4 feet away from us. I like tossed a little rock at one and like landed right next to it. The marmots don't even flinch.
Nope.
Eventually we just like had to pack up and like leave the pass and like start hiking down because the marmots were just gonna eat our food. Like they didn't care.
I remember.
On top of Island Pass, we camped on top of Island Pass, and around 5:45 in the morning we heard some coyotes. There was like one off in the distance here and maybe a couple more over here, and they were like howling over at each other, calling to each other, trying to find each other, and that was really cool. And you know, we're at 10,600 feet or something like that, and nobody around anywhere for miles. Sun's just starting to come up. It was cool.
This one isn't a weird thing, but it's just like one of those like delightful, spontaneous things that happen when you are traveling. We had to hitch a ride back to our the inn we stayed at Mammoth Lakes because the bus just like stops running there
like 6 p.m. or something.
Yeah, I think it's like
really
4
early.
p.m.
Yeah.
And so when we tried to get on the bus, they're like, we are not going there. The best thing you can do is hitch a ride. Put out your thumb. And so that's what we did.
Yeah, and it was like we're in our minds, we're like, all right, we're about to walk like 5 miles down a windy mountain road in the pitch black, and we stick our thumbs out, like the third car is like, yeah, come on, get it.
Just like big smiles, like, please pick me up. But they were super nice, and they're like, we hiked the JMT a few years ago, that's how we met. They call me Smiles on the trail. How has it been? Tell us everything. We follow all the trail reports because we're like trail obsessed with the JMT.
Yeah.
People are obsessed with the JMT here and the PCT.
Oh, another like just friendly hiker encounter was here at VVR. We took a ferry ride like on a pontoon boat across this lake like 5 miles to get over here to the ranch for our 0 day.
We ran here.
Oh my God, we were running late. We knew the ferry was going to leave at 4:45, and we had like an hour and a half and still like 4 miles to go. So we were just like sprinting down this mountain to get here. And they were going to leave like 20 seconds. I pulled up, and they stopped and waited for Jen to catch up, and a few other straggler hikers, which is really nice. But on the ferry, we met this guy, Jim and Bart, his friend Bart.
California.
Yeah, they both lived here in California, Southern California, and then they were the first in line, got the last like motel room here. We were planning to just camp here, which would have been totally fine, but they got the last motel room, and it slept 4, and they saw Jen over at the scale weighing her pack, and Jim comes over and like helps her hold it up to weigh, and he was like, oh man, your pack's over 40 pounds, like that's so heavy. Like, all right, here, we've got an extra bed, you're sleeping in a bed tonight, we've got you, like don't worry about it. And then they like this morning like had leftover breakfast and gave it to her, and that was nice. That's so sweet.
I don't think they didn't directly say like, you're small, you're carrying a heavy pack.
But they saw her and were like, whoa. He did. He was like, he said directly to you, he's like, Jen, you're my hero.
It was 40 pounds. We even dropped weight.
We dropped weight down to 40 pounds.
Yeah.
And that's without any water. So Jen's been carrying over a 50-pound pack for most of this time, and that's almost half her body weight. So.
But you get used to it, they say.
Yeah, you get used to it.
Have you had any like major life revelations?
My body is crumbly. My body hurts. It doesn't recover from this. But no, that's about it. I haven't really had any big revelations.
I don't think I've had any like big life revelations, but it does kind of like reinforce small things that they say, like enjoy the moment, enjoy the present, because that goes back to the fact that at one moment I'm like all happy, all ecstatic, because we are, seeing the most beautiful mountains in the US. We're going over them, it's stunning, the weather's great, and then the next moment I'm just why are we here?
We've not had almost any time to even rest or like just sit and look and enjoy the sunset and the mountains and all of that. Like, we are up at 4:35 in the morning. We're getting to camp at 6 p.m., cooking dinner and going straight to sleep because we're just dead exhausted. And like, it's hard to think about enjoying the moment when you're so tired and you're pushing so hard nonstop. But I feel like, at the beginning, the first couple of days, I wasn't able to, and I was like really like a little miserable. Like it was really like some of the hardest climbs the first couple of days, and our bodies weren't adjusted. And as we've started to adjust to it, I feel like even though we're still pushing so hard, at least I'm able to start to enjoy the process of it. And yeah, like I'm in pain, and a lot of these moments suck, but like being able to live in that moment and just, you know, be there with it. Like, yeah, this kind of sucks right now, but like the context of where I am and what I'm doing and being able to do this is just like, there's nothing like it.
And I feel like that's definitely part of the experience. Like, it's not supposed to be all sunshine, all like a walk in the park the whole time. It is about the up and the down and pushing through it. And there was only one moment where I ever thought, do I really want this? Should I just bail? And that was like just sitting in mosquitoes.
Yeah, that was day 2.
That was day 2. But other than that, like, I have never thought, this is hard and I don't want to do it anymore. It's like, this is hard, but like, we're gonna adjust. We're gonna like get the right gear. We're gonna
get rid of the wrong gear.
Yeah. And we're gonna keep going because it is all part of the like amazing experience.
I'm gonna just adjust that a little bit. We're gonna get rid of all of the extra weight. We're gonna take some ibuprofen and we're gonna keep walking.
They call them hiker chiclets. Just keep popping ibuprofen within reason.